be fun.
Okay, great. So we covered a lot of stuff today. I'm going to try and go through each of these concepts as quickly as possible. But they're all rooted in this idea of a 5-note rhythm, cinquillo, that we see in Afro-Cuban music, more commonly referred to as the clave or son clave. Son clave you can think of as a 5-note pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, very often in Western notation, we see it as 2 measures of 4/4 time, and it's this rhythm: 1, 2, and 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Where does this rhythm come from? It actually originates with another rhythm that comes from the Yoruba people in West Africa, a rhythm known as konkolo. And konkolo sounds like this. That rhythm eventually evolved into the clave. How? Well, it's like a game of phone. Things slightly change over time. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to show you the transition from the konkolo to the Afro-Cuban clave. So that's that transition. That's how it happens. Now we're going to talk about the clave a lot this semester because it's used in so many different Afro-American styles of music. Whether we're looking at Brazilian music, Cuban music, Mexican music, or music from the United States created by black African Americans. And what we're going to talk about today is a rhythm that actually originated in New Orleans. It's important to remember how this all traveled. The horrible tragedy of the transatlantic slave trade. Really horrible part of human history. The one silver lining on this, though, is that this rhythm traveled from West Africa, which is the konkolo I just played for you. And it ended up in Havana, Cuba, which was one of the major trading ports in the New World. Now, in Cuban music, we see this clave rhythm. Right? And we'll talk more about this through the semester as it applies to conga playing and bongo and timbales and all that. But let's start with United States-based rhythm. This rhythm made its way up through the Caribbean, through the Gulf of Mexico into New Orleans, a major trading port in Louisiana. And one of the earliest rhythms from the end of the 19th century that's a modern drum beat rhythm started out as 2 different drummers, a bass drummer and a snare drummer, playing marching bass and marching snare. And the bass drummer played that clave rhythm in the bass drum. The snare drummer would play the same accent pattern on the snare drum. Right? So you get this cool kind of swinging rhythm. Now, how do we develop this on the drum set? Well, here's a few exercises you can use. First thing is get the clave going with the right hand on the snare drum. Then the left hand. Get that internalized. Then keep quarter notes in the bass drum while playing the clave with the right hand and the left hand on the snare drum. Flip it, do quarter notes in the hi-hat, and then do the clave on the snare drum. Again, right hand, and then left hand. Right, now once you get comfortable with that, let's do the clave in the feet. So we're going to do first in the bass drum, again thinking about this original rhythm from New Orleans, which, by the way, this rhythm is referred to today as a second-line rhythm. Another name for it is the pakiwe rhythm. And again, it's just that clave pattern. So get that going kind of an autopilot in the bass drum. Get to where you can just do without thinking about it. And then add quarter notes in the snare drum. Start with the right hand, then the left hand. If you can do that, you've gained a whole level of coordination that's going to be critical for this pakiwe rhythm. Now, one other element that I did not play for you that came about as the drum set developed. Remember that the old late 19th, early 20th century New Orleans drummers had a bass drummer and a snare drummer. And when they started to put these together in the earliest form of the drum kit, they had the bass drum with the foot pedal, or sometimes what was called double drumming, where they'd play with a stick, and they'd have the snare drum with the sticks. What they didn't have was the hi-hat, which was a later invention, the sock cymbal. But when you add in the 2 and 4 feel that we hear in jazz, you get this cool rhythmic tapestry or stew of all these elements. So I have the hi-hat going on 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. That kind of shuffling or swinging 8th note rhythm in the snare drum. Right? And then I have the bass drum doing the clave. Now we talked about some coordination with the clave being played by the hands and quarter notes in the feet. But let's talk about some coordination just using the feet and doing the clave pattern. So again, thinking back to the old Pockway groove, which is the boom, 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 boom in the bass drum. Keep that going, but keep quarter notes going steady on the hi-hat. Once you get comfortable with that, drop out beat 1 of the quarter notes in the hi-hat. So it's going to be rest 2, 3, 4, rest 2, 3, 4. Once you get comfortable with that, drop out beat 3. And now all we have is beat 2 and beat 4. Keep that to where you can get an autopilot and you don't have to think about it. And then play quarter notes. Left hand. That much. If you can do that much, then the final step is adding in 8th notes. Play them straight at first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4. Once you get comfortable doing it straight, see if you can put a little bit of that swing rhythm. Accents on the clave rhythm. Now, next time we'll talk about how you can shift the accents around in the snare drum part while keeping the clave in the feet. But for right now, just work on all those exercises to really get that Pockway rhythm solid.
Sweet.
Cool.